on this edition of In the Life.
Whether it's on camera, off camera, behind the scenes, or making a scene, gay men and lesbians are using film and television to tell their stories and state their case. All this and more on In the Life, America's lesbian and gay cultural news magazine. In the Life is funded in part by the H. Van Ameringen Foundation. Additional support provided by Michael A. Lepin, Jeffrey B. Soref, James Pepper, Amy Zimmerman and Tanya Wexler, Jonathan B. Sheffer and Christopher Barley, Barry Skovgaard and Mark Walensky, the Lily Auchincloss Foundation, the Guild Foundation, the Michael Palm Foundation, the Rainbow Endowment, the Terry K. Watanabe Charitable Trust, the Mitchell Gold Company, in the hopes of eliminating all types of fear and prejudice, and the annual support of In the Life members like you.
Welcome to In the Life and our annual film and video episode. Hi, I'm Katherine Linton. We bring you this program from the new home of PBS's flagship station, 13 WNET, here in New York. Now, back in the 1970s, media guru Marshall McLuhan coined the phrase, "The medium is the message." Well, if that's true, then the message from television and movies today is that gay culture has moved from the margins to the mainstream of popular entertainment. And whether or not in front of the camera or behind the scenes, gay men and lesbians are bringing a new sensibility to large and small screens all across America.
I don't even try to shock people anymore. I try to make people laugh, and I've always tried to make people laugh. The trick is to shock people in a new way with some kind of humor. Gay people always have a good sense of humor, I think, and I think all comedies have good gay audiences.
Over the past few years, major studios have produced a number of box office hits with their Tinseltown version of gay life. But long before Hollywood jumped on the bandwagon, there were several pioneering distributors that were marketing many more films about gay subjects. In our first segment, correspondent Jonathan Capehart visits the companies that broke through industry barriers to bring us what is now known as the gay and lesbian film genre.
Robin and Serena are gonna be there, and you know how lesbians make us really nervous. Ever since he saw Basic Instinct, and that was years ago.
Well, I couldn't decide between coffee or a cocktail. Guess what won?
Let it all go, John! Let these strong, loving men heal you.
If you're a fan of gay and lesbian cinema, there's a good chance you've seen a film from independent distributors like Strand Releasing, Jeu de Fête Films,
It's kind of complicated.
or First Run Features.
I'm a big supporter of Strand Releasing, you know. If they release the movie, I go see it.
You have a girlfriend?
Yeah. His name's Danny.
Before mainstream Hollywood capitalized on the value of the gay audience with films like The Birdcage, In and Out, and Philadelphia, a small group of film companies were defining that very market by offering audiences honest and challenging images of gay and lesbian life.
Movies like Edge of 17 that still have a lot of gay sex in them still find it very difficult to get distribution. Mainstream distributors are afraid of movies like that. So we need companies like Strand and Jeu de Fête to continue to put out these movies.
Did you put on my cologne?
No. I mean, I opened it up. I wanted to see what it smelled like. You did.
And we kiss right there in the street, and it's a moment we talk about for years later, how we never believed in love at first sight until we met each other.
What we release has to be different than what the studios release and the other, the studio-owned independents. So we're always looking for something that's a little controversial, that's very different, that pushes the boundaries a little bit.
Is this a joke, right? It's not supposed to be funny.
It's not.
One major player in the gay film industry started off inauspiciously in San Francisco. 22 years ago, a disillusioned film student decided to take matters into his own hands.
In '77, I took over a theater, an old ramshackle theater downtown in San Francisco called The Strand. Started programming daily change, double features, triple features, this sort of thing, all types of subject matter, including gay subject matter.
Thomas was soon joined by another film buff whose love of B-movies drew a steady following to the classic theater.
It had really great series. And one of the best ones that I programmed was AIP series, American International Pictures, which were the 50s and 60s sort of exploitation pictures. They were the horror films and the beach blanket bingo pictures.
Why don't we go home together? Suits me.
In 1991, Strand moved to Los Angeles and began producing films depicting the psychology of the AIDS crisis. Strand's original films soon gained a reputation for brutal honesty and experimentation.
In terms of like The Living In and Via Appia and Frisk in its own way, I think that those films were addressing, AIDS in a very timely manner. It's still a crisis going on, but there is a different urgency now. And I think that it was really critical the way that we, had those issues out right then for people to see. Gay and lesbian films have settled into this kind of more comfortable state where they can just make films about everyday life and make films that are comedies as opposed to making those edgier films.
New York's Museum of Modern Art recently celebrated Strand's 10th anniversary with a month-long retrospective featuring 25 of Strand's most influential films.
We wanted to recognize both their contribution to the perception of gay cinema in this country and also to applaud their expansion into adventuresome international cinema as well.
It's incredible that a small company like Strand has gotten a retrospective here at the Museum of Modern Art. It's inspiring to all the rest of us who are working away in our lofts or our garages trying to make small films.
There's a love of film there in the way in which they re-release really classic movies, or I think they're just a wonderful and very kind of like diverse company.
R.E.D.
While Strand emerged as an indie player on the West Coast, New York-based First Run Features was also beginning to tap into the gay and lesbian market.
I think that almost from the outset of the company's formation, we started distributing films that were specifically for gays and lesbians.
That was Miss Callahan's girlfriend.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice that lady in the car? She's the one who brings Miss Callahan to school every morning.
Maybe Callahan doesn't have a car. Maybe they're roommates.
Yeah, because they're lesies.
In the mid-'80s, we started to look at actually doing more entertaining fiction feature films, gay and lesbian feature films. And we were so successful with it, we continued to really concentrate on that.
So, what's his name? What's he do?
His name is Brendan. We run a cafe together.
Brendan? Not Brendan with the dark eyes and the permanent 5 o'clock shadow, Brendan?
Yes.
I know him.
You do?
Yes, he comes to my men's group.
Your men's group?
Well, it's exclusively gay product. We're the only company that is.
Strand co-founder Mike Thomas recently branched out with his own distribution company, Jour de Fête Films. The company's first release, Relax, It's Just Sex, was discovered at the Sundance Film Festival in 1998.
I told you that first night that I cannot make a commitment. Not yet. I mean, I was in a 9-year relationship with the same woman.
What?
Strand, Jour de Fête Films, and First Run Features have come a long way since the early 90s, and they've been seeing greater and greater success at the box office. However, all of the distributors agree that a bigger box office revenue isn't always the main criteria when selecting material.
The incredible payoff for my job, at least, is that I'm able to bring to the marketplace, quality gay and lesbian titles, and that's really an important thing personally for me.
Being an openly gay film distributor, I think is very important as an industry statement. Low-budget films kind of off-the-wall films and mainstream gay films can all coexist and be brought out according to what's reasonable and cost-effective. We don't turn up our noses at something because it's a small film.
All I ask for is your honesty and your sperm. I don't even ask for your love.
Every boy there's a girl. Not if you're gay. Not if you're what? Gay. What? Gay. Homosexual. A fagala.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Anderson. Being out on the job isn't easy, whether you're on a set, in an office, or on an assembly line. But there are places to find support. Today, more and more companies have gay employee groups. If you are dealing with issues of coming out, you might want to contact the National Coming Out Project. To find the link, go to In the Life's website at inthelifetv.org.
The name John Waters used to be synonymous with low-budget, off-the-wall films, or as he sometimes described them, trashy. Yet over the years, even this maverick writer, producer, and director has become more and more, dare we say it, mainstream. Yet for Waters, that only means devising new ways to shock his audience. And as correspondent Scott Holloman shows us, nothing pleases him more.
Filmmaker John Waters first earned his reputation as a shocking director with his early work entitled Pink Flamingos.
I like movies as terrorism. If a movie could make someone murder somebody, I think it's a great movie. I don't think any movie has ever made anybody want to murder somebody, for real. They had bad parents or bad things happen to them. You can't just blame a movie. But if a completely normal person could walk in a movie and they'd leave and make them kill somebody, even though I would hate for that to happen, it must be a pretty good movie.
Waters' style may have evolved in the 27 years since Pink Flamingos was filmed, but he still enjoys making audiences blush and maybe even question their own definitions of comedy. Waters titled his most recent film, Pecker.
Here's the pitch, the Hollywood pitch. You have to go in and get their attention quickly, right? Pecker is the R-rated rags to riches comedy about a goofy, cute, blue-collar kid in Baltimore who works in a sandwich shop and takes pictures of his loving but very peculiar family on the side.
Are you Pecker?
Yeah, I am.
Hi, I'm Rory.
We're his parents.
Hi. I'm from New York City, where I have an art gallery. I'm in town for a meeting with the Baltimore Museum, and I saw your flyer.
He gets discovered accidentally by a New York art dealer and turned into an art star in New York, and how it totally wrecks his happy blue-collar life in Baltimore.
I love your look.
And how he gets his life and reputation back, and how the New Yorkers learn to like his world.
New York is certainly a part of John Waters' life, as is Los Angeles. But despite being well accepted by the so-called Hollywood establishment, Waters chooses to make his home here in Baltimore, Maryland.
My love affair with Baltimore, it's complicated. Baltimore to me is what inspires me. There's certain street corners I ritualistically go to the day before I start to write a movie. I love New York. A lot of my social life is here. Insane people here know they're insane and use their insanity for style and career. In Baltimore, the ones that are the most insane really think they're normal. Also in Baltimore, gay and straight and everybody hangs out together way much more. I like it where you don't know who's what, where everything's mixed, where people can still change. They can come in if they want, rather than come out. I don't care. It's much more interesting to me.
Baltimore is also where Waters chooses to make his films, including Hairspray, Cry Baby, and Serial Mom.
After Hairspray, which was made at New Line, I had what was perceived as a hit. And so it was the only time in my life that all the Hollywood studios would have let me do whatever I wanted. I should have made a snuff movie while I had the chance. But I made a Hollywood movie through Imagine Films called Cry Baby, which was a hard film to do because it was a musical with original music and dancing and lip syncing and everything. It was like a 50s musical.
Yes, teardrops are falling from my eyes.
Serial Mom was much more lush. It was about suburbia, about upper middle class suburbia, and how violence can breed from that upper middle class kind of cleanliness.
While Waters' films do not have overtly gay themes, his gay sensibility is apparent through the subtle and not so subtle overtones in many of his scripts.
Being gay's too easy for me. Being gay now is in every movie, so I have to twist that even. I have to do a joke on that to make it gaily incorrect.
Waters also has a twist on gay America that you may find shocking.
I thought being gay when I was growing up, the privilege was you didn't have to go in the army or get married because you were gay. And now you have to fight for it. So that's what I mean by gaily incorrect. I can't imagine, no matter how much in love, that I would want to walk down the aisle in a mock ceremony. I hate straight weddings, much less gay ones. I have no desire. It's like a Hallmark greeting card hell. It's something that I'm for. Everybody has the right to do it, God knows. I mean, heterosexual people get married 7 times and fail. Why can't gay people? I'm not strict. I don't think there should be rules in any culture. That's the only problem sometimes I have with gay culture is it's gaily correct, just like liberals are politically correct or Republicans are republicanly correct. I like to break rules no matter who makes them, and I like to break them with humor.
Even in the most vile of his films, there's a sweetness about that. Your ratted hair is preventing yet another student's geometry education.
Actress Rhea Fiken also makes her home in Baltimore. She has seen a very different side of John Waters, both as a close friend and at work on the set of Hairspray.
I met John Waters when he was a kid, and I was just a little more than a kid. Seriously, I think before he had a camera. As time has gone on, we have gotten closer. He has this kind of humor that is with him all the time. It's how he sees the world. So even when he's working on a movie, he sees things in a very humorous way.
Whether it's changes in Waters' style, audience trends, or both, his works have certainly moved more into the mainstream over the years. In fact, he was even recently asked to lend his voice talents to a gay-themed episode of The Simpsons.
I could wrap a bow around you and slap on a price tag. Disarm them through laughter. When the whole family sit around at 7 o'clock and watch The Simpsons and have that on there, that is really how culture can change everybody's attitude, by making them laugh. That's the only way you can ever change someone's opinion.
Whether or not one appreciates John Waters' films, few could argue that his style is a unique part of the entertainment industry.
He is very caring as a director because he doesn't ever seem to embarrass the talent or bully the talent or the technical people for that matter. He always seems to go up and talk to you privately about how he wants you to do it, so that if you haven't done it right, it's not something that everybody in the world hears.
I don't even try to shock people anymore. I try to make people laugh, and I've always tried to make people laugh. The trick is to shock people in a new way, with some kind of humor. Gay people always have a good sense of humor, I think, and I think all comedies have good gay audiences, because gay people have had to laugh to get through all the hassles in their life more than any other minority. I think that humor has gotten them through their bad times. I've always said that if we can laugh at the worst thing that ever happened to us because we're gay, we'll be the strongest minority of all.
For filmmakers, especially those who have yet to achieve the recognition of a John Waters, film festivals have always been a crucial place to showcase new work. But they also provide something else, a space for a community to come together. And that is exactly what's happening in the Eastern European country of Hungary, where a small but growing festival has become an important social and cultural gathering place for that country's emerging gay and lesbian movement. Filmmaker Elisa Lebeau was invited to Hungary's capital to show her own work as part of the Budapest Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. She filed this report for In the Life.
Budapest is a grand old Central European city on the banks of the Danube River.
birthplace of Franz Liszt, Bela Bartok, and perhaps most notoriously, Zsa Zsa Gabor. Recently, Budapest has developed a small but thriving gay and lesbian community, one that hopes to grow in numbers and visibility. Welcome to the 4th annual Gay and Lesbian Pride Festival from Budapest. The rally is happening right behind me and you can hear it. It's a 4-day cultural arts festival with panel discussions, parties every night, films from 10 in the morning to 10 at night, and of course the Gay Pride March. There's a lot of preparation that goes into this 4-day event, which operates out of the Central European University on a shoestring budget with an all-volunteer staff.
This event is of crucial importance for the formation of the community because living in Hungary as a gay or lesbian person is for most of the people is like not having a mirror. This is the central event of gays and lesbians in Hungary. Gay life in Hungary is centered in Budapest. Just totally. This is the only city where they can come out and have jobs as well.
We have gays only in Budapest, of course. All gays moves here because they can't live in the countryside. And they are all here. They have to come out here.
As part of the festival, filmmakers like myself were invited to go on a special gay bus tour of Budapest on the hot pink Barbie bus, where we learn more about the past and present underground cruising sites of Budapest than about any organizing activity of the gay and lesbian movement.
This park on the right is the cruising area of Buda, and lately people prefer coming here than to the Pest cruising areas because it's relatively safe. On this square there was a toilet, which was also a gay meeting place. Young people today are sometimes shocked to hear that 10-15 years ago gay men used to meet other gay men in public toilets, but there was practically no other opportunities.
In Hungary you don't speak about being gay or lesbian. So I think invisibility is a big issue in Hungary. You don't come out to your colleagues, you don't come out to your neighbors, your parents, your family. So people haven't got, any idea about what it takes to be gay or lesbian.
I met with the nationally acclaimed Hungarian poet Adam Nadasdy in the art gallery of the festival to discuss the situation for gays and lesbians in Hungary.
There are a few people who are openly gay, but certainly a small number, and very few still of the, how should I say, of the popular or famous people. They are usually shy to come out. So some leading actors or media personalities who we know to be gay, and maybe many people know them to be gay, yet they wouldn't speak as such, or they wouldn't publicly acclaim that they were gay. We have, if you like, a funny definition of what is a secret here in this town. Now, a secret is not something that nobody knows. A secret is something that everybody knows, but everybody knows that it's a secret.
The film festival has also inspired a gay pride march, and in a country where being closeted is practically a way of life, I was surprised that anyone showed up. But they did. In fact, several hundred people marched.
Well, I think there are going to be a lot of people who come, but they are going to be, some kind of incognito. Either they are going to dress in drag. That's one of the options. I think a lot of people did that last year. Or they might just ask the cameraman or the camera persons not to shoot them. There were people who did that last year.
Last year I had my sunglasses on and my baseball cap, and still my grandmother said, "I saw you on TV." So this year I thought, if they saw me last year and basically everybody knows, I don't think it's a big deal.
My name is Hajnalka Székely. I'm from Hungary. I lived in a smaller town here, but I moved here 2 days ago. So I live here now.
Welcome to Budapest.
Oh, thank you.
Is this your first gay pride march?
Yes. Last year there was a gay pride here, and I was here, but I didn't go here because I didn't dare.
I was very proud that there was many people to joy to the crowd, and it was a crowd, I think. It was a real march.
There was a long period of totalitarian rule here in this country under communism, Before that, there was a very strongly right-wing period during the two wars, and maybe those have left their mark. And so maybe we are now where Denmark was 30 years ago, or where Holland was 40 years ago. The great change came in 89-90, when the communist regime collapsed, and then gay bars could open, and everybody felt freer. It wasn't legally punishable before. I have to say that, in all fairness, the communist regime decriminalized homosexuality many years before it collapsed. But to be out, you know, that only came with the collapse of communism.
After 4 days and nights of serious movie-going, panels, and bus tours, I was treated to an amateur drag show in Club Capella that was as good as any I've seen. With cultural events like the Gay and Lesbian Festival, I'd like to think Budapest could become home to an even more open and active lesbian and gay community.
To discuss the stories you see on In the Life, visit our website and the In the Life forum. Tell us and other viewers your thoughts at www.inthelifetv.org.
Still to come on In the Life.
The winner of our 4th annual short film and video contest. And a look at Get Bruce, a new film about the funniest man in Hollywood.
You know, that? Yeah, hey, right.
But first,
While gay images on the big screen might not please some conservative groups, this is nothing compared to the battle they wage over what is broadcast into your living room. Tanya Barfield has the story on the battle for the box.
But let this filth come into our classrooms, that's fine. And you wonder what's wrong with America? You wonder what's wrong with America?
Who really cares if you're gay? It's like barely nobody knows in the world. It's like, what's the big whoop?
Last year, we told you about a documentary called It's Elementary, which was initially produced for teachers to discuss tolerance of gay people in primary and secondary schools.
In 1992, my son was about to start public elementary school, and I started to be concerned about what kinds of messages he was going to be getting at school about the kind of family that he came from. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that what he was going to be exposed to in the official curriculum was going to be nothing. It was going to be silence, complete invisibility that gay and lesbian people existed.
Looking for a way to build understanding and tolerance among teachers and students, Deborah Chasnoff decided to make It's Elementary. Together with co-producer Helen Cohen, she embarked on a 4-year project.
We set out across the country and we found 6 schools, 4 public schools, 2 independent schools, where teachers were doing some kind of lesson that included an awareness of lesbian and gay people or anti-gay discrimination. And we took our cameras in to the classrooms and observed. We thought the contribution that we could make would be to demystify for people, for educators and parents, what it would actually look like if a 3rd grade teacher walked into the room and said, today we're going to talk about lesbians and gay men.
When I think of gay, I think of someone like a boy working funny, like a girl.
Once the film was completed, Chasnoff and Cohen traveled to 30 cities to screen and promote it.
People who were in the audiences of these big premieres got really excited and inspired, and they would say to us, I'm going to take this film to my son's school, and I'm going to sit down with the principal and make her watch this film. And they did.
There's a feeling of inspiration. And I think you can't watch the film without feeling motivated to do something. And the response when teachers and parents see it is usually, what can we do here?
It was accepted, it was respected, which was what we were looking for, from this is wonderful. We need more documentaries like this. You know, this has changed my attitude towards what gay and lesbian people are feeling.
It's Elementary soon began winning awards at film festivals. As word of the film spread, So did the press coverage.
Well, we were amazed. We kept getting, feature story written about us, reviews written about us, and they were all incredibly positive. And I kept waiting. And then finally one day, somebody forwarded me something from some right-wing organization ranting and raving about this film. And then I would say in the fall of '97, it started coming, and it was a deluge.
The video is basically an infomercial for the homosexual agenda, and it's an infomercial for homosexual marriage.
Before we knew it, it seemed like It's Elementary had become the poster child for the religious right. We were what was wrong with America, and you should send your money now to stop It's Elementary.
As far as activists are concerned, the younger a child can be introduced to homosexuality, the better.
Schools are also promoting Gay and Lesbian Pride Month, as shown in this video, another resource for homosexual supporters to recruit sympathy from the children.
This summer, amidst protests from conservative groups, the documentary aired on numerous PBS stations across the country.
Okay, we'll take comments and questions at the end of the story. Here we go. Asha's moms.
With It's Elementary reaching a greater audience through public television, reaction to the film intensified.
The Center for Reclaiming America has encouraged people all over America to contact their stations and request that they not show it. However, I also believe there was pressure put on those stations to show It's Elementary. So I believe that if that's what it takes is pressure, that's what we need to be doing.
What GLAAD did, we met with a lot of PBS stations, either in person or on the phone, and explained why this programming is important, and basically we negated some of the things that Jerry Falwell was saying. And some stations who were on the fence about it decided to go ahead and air it.
For those of us who are Christian conservatives, we have many issues that we fight. We fight abortion, and the two hot buttons that I particularly work on are abortion and the homosexual agenda.
One of the ways the right is responding to the broadcast of It's Elementary is by demanding that public television stations air a response program they produced called Suffer the Children.
The battle in this country between those holding to traditional morality and those espousing hedonism has reached a fever pitch.
We think that over a period of time, we cover both sides of many, many issues.
Ward Chamberlain has played a prominent role in public television for over 30 years and helped draft the original charters for PBS and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
We are very hesitant here at this station to respond to a pressure group that says, look, that was a one-sided program, now you present our side on the air. We believe that their side, if it's at all reasonable, will over a period of 6 months or whatever it may be, will be represented in an appropriate way on our station.
To encourage debate, many public stations that aired It's Elementary also presented their own on-air discussion of the film.
Here in San Francisco, we also had a local program wrapped around It's Elementary.
Mary Bitterman is president of public station KQED in San Francisco, which was instrumental in bringing It's Elementary to public television.
What we did was to invite 7 parents into the studio who had never seen the program before, who came from different walks of life. They had different attitudes about what children should be taught in school, different religious attitudes, what they called different family values even, although what we found is that they shared a great deal in common, including the love that they had for their children.
Sitting next to somebody in class who is gay and finding out about it is not going to make you gay.
Just who decided that it's the business of the public school, in this case on teaching homosexuality as it was presented in that film?
What I heard was a promotion of tolerance, and I think that tolerance is a human value, it's a family value, it's a moral value.
My mother's mean to so much to me. I have 2 mothers. 2 moms is pretty nice. Well, it's more than pretty nice, it's really nice.
I saw It's Elementary at a Concerned Women for America meeting. There were mothers in that room that were crying after that video because they were disturbed about what's happening to our children, that our children are being propagandized.
What we receive in public broadcasting is on the same day per program. Somebody saying, I think this program is very conservative, I will no longer support you, and somebody saying this program is so flamingly liberal, I will no longer support you, and it's the identical program. So it does bespeak the diversity of the American people.
While It's Elementary aired on over 90 stations, it was not shown in over 20 states.
We certainly recognize that there would be colleagues who would elect not to show the program. And we have respect for those colleagues, whether they showed that program or any other program that we present or elected not to. There's a great deal of sovereignty and independence per station, where every station makes its decision for the community it serves.
Local decisions on programming point out the true nature of public TV and also indicate its greatest vulnerability.
Commercial broadcasters, they're afraid of their advertisers, and their advertiser will run away. We're not afraid of that in public television, but what some managers are afraid of is the pressure through Congress and through their own legislatures in various states that can bring pressure on the station.
I think that what steals everyone in public television and what can make us more resilient in the future is a diversity of support sources. That it should never be all government, it should never be all foundation, all corporation, or in some communities even all viewers, because sometimes viewers can band together and say, we are the viewers who give you money, disregard the other viewers. And we can't do that because we hold public licenses, and whether people watch and listen to our stations and are members or they're not members, we still need to accord their interests and their needs absolute consideration.
I feel the public broadcast system has an obligation to give a balanced look. I don't know yet if they will give us that opportunity.
It's Elementary serves as the latest barometer in the right's effort to influence public television and points to the challenge some stations face when airing controversial programs.
We continue to try to judge programs on their merit, not only on their merit, not only their quality as a television program, but whether there's a particular segment of our audience out there that would be interested in this particular kind of program. Doesn't have to be everybody.
We're able to take on issues in a way that doesn't just do the 30-second soundbite, but really allows us to bring difficult issues to the air with sufficient time to debate them.
We'll get one of those emails or one of those letters in the mail, and it's very upsetting. And then I just have to look over at the relative size of our hate mail and our fan mail and be reassured that the vast majority of people who have seen this film have been elated to see it and to say, what can we do about this so that our kids don't have to grow up the way we did?
We call ourselves a public television station, so that means that we're supposed to serve the public, all the publics. We've come a long way in public television in matters of lifestyle and programs that deal with sexual orientation. We always, I think, were ahead of commercial stations in playing those kinds of programs, and we should be. We should be.
While the battle for the box continues over public television, on another network, a popular game show features a gay man whose sexual orientation and talent for comedy is no secret. Audiences might be somewhat familiar with Bruce Vilanch from the new Hollywood Squares. There he is the head writer and has a fabulous spot sitting just to the left of Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay, Bruce, if the sky is pink all the time, where are you?
My house. The amazing part is every time we get research reports
I look at them to see, you know, I'm waiting for the one report that says, get that fag off the show. Who does he think he is? And so far, it's all been very positive. They like me. I mean, they really like me. In fact, the CBS affiliate in Dallas called and says, we want some more promos for the show. Get that gay guy. He says, he's funny. We like him down here. And I thought, Dallas? They like me in Dallas.
Oh, my. He's a secret square.
I was at the Salt Lake City airport, and there were all these old Mormons from a retirement home who stopped their jitney to have their picture taken with me. And I was thinking, do they have any idea who I am? I mean, you know, years from now, when they look at this photo, here's all these old Mormons and this raging queen, what are they going to think? But, you know, it's not that. It's I'm on TV.
How anyone got Vilanch into a square when his life and work are anything but is a mystery.
Marty the Martian.
This wordsmith for the stars, not to mention the last 9 Oscar telecasts, is now the subject of a new documentary called Get Bruce. In the film, America is introduced to the work, the wit, and even the T-shirts of Bruce Vilanch.
Truer words were never spoken.
Bruce, Brucey, Brucey, baby, Brucey, baby, Bruce, Brucey, 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 baby, Brucey, baby. What do you do? Oh, tell us what do you do when you need a good line? When you need a good line. Just tell me where to go. With a gun. When you're under the gun and you want to shine. Want to shine, baby. Before I vamoose, better listen good to your chanteuse. To your chanteuse. Don't be obtuse. Don't be obtuse.
The title really refers to the fact that every single person in Hollywood who has to get up and speak on an award show or at a charitable event, the first thought that comes into their head is, get Bruce.
What I tell people is he was looking to do another movie about a fabulous queen behind the scenes, and he got out his directory of fabulous queens behind the scenes, and he got to the V's before anybody would say yes.
I said, look, I'll do the directing and the camera and all that part, and you supply the stars, which he did.
You got that funny Bruce Vilanch writing some of the stuff for everyone. He's the funniest guy. Every time you see an award show, no matter which one, the Oscars, the Tonys, the Emmys, he's the guy who's responsible for nearly all the material. And
man. As far as I know, Bruce has literally been involved with every event, every charitable event, and every award show that I've ever been involved in. So I didn't know that you're allowed to do one without him, frankly.
Part of the way that people view me is because of how Bruce has written for me. Basically, I'll find out what it is I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to be, and I'll call Bruce and say, hello, dear.
Hello.
You know, Bill has asked me to do his 50th birthday. You know that.
Ah, the big Radio City Bad.
The Radio City Big Bad, with many, many interesting people on the bill. What shall I do?
First, I think you should come out and say, good evening, I'm Colin Powell.
Anyway, it's really good to be here, truly, because some of us are from Hollywood. Yes, where they think Rwanda is the name of a talk show host. LA, baby. If you can't be a star, at least you can be a star witness. Anyway.
And I work with these people. The first thing you have to do is be a listener. I have to get their speech pattern, and also I have to kind of glom onto their personality to figure out what their persona is when they're on stage. And so that requires a lot of sitting back and patiently observing them. It also means a lot of homework. I have to pay attention to them when I'm not with them. You know, look at all their movies, their shows, whatever it is, to kind of get who they are, and then figure out how I'm going to put words in their mouth.
For years, I never said a word that Bruce didn't charge me for. In fact, Bruce was the first man to put something in my mouth that actually made us both money.
What amazes me is that all of these stars who have so much invested in creating themselves have allowed the world to know that they didn't do it by themselves, and that, you know, they have maintenance. I'm part of their maintenance crew.
I knew that for a fact that people had no idea whatsoever that somebody actually wrote what seemed to be spontaneous remarks, that there was an actual writing process in what Whoopi Goldberg says at the Oscars or Billy Crystal says.
You know, every year, you know, my first call is to Bruce. Once I know that, you know, he's there, then, you know, like a baseball team, we're strong up the middle.
Well, actually, one of the entrances we were going to do was the crying game. That they wouldn't let us do. Wasn't it that year we thought you would come out in drag and have an Oscar hanging between your legs?
That was your idea.
That was my idea.
Your hand keeps creeping up her thighs.
You hurry
into
to
the spot, it's just a dot on this dame.
Those eyes, those thighs, surprise! It's the crying game.
It's the crying game. Hey, I didn't order that.
Yeah, hey, right.
It's strange when you have a documentary done about yourself, and I recommend it to everyone because it's a cathartic experience. You discover that things that you thought had... Sorry. There was somebody from the cast of A Bug's Life was visiting. You can guard your life just so much, and when you open it up to a documentarian, you have to be willing to take the consequences.
He's always been a pillar for the community, for the gay community. Always been, you know, a wonderful role model, and for Jews, really more of an embarrassment. I got to say that. Different communities, different reactions.
I've never been comfortable with the idea of being a role model because I think that role models should get laid a whole lot more than I do.
He's too much of a muppet to be a role model, though, I think. I don't know.
I guess in a way because I don't live a compromised existence. I think that just is a de facto role model for a lot of people who do and who would like to change.
He's extremely decent, and what he's done for the AIDS cause in this country is immeasurable.
When AIDS happened, I got busy. I did what I could do, which was organize fundraisers with people in show business.
I always say this, but it's true. I find myself breaking down for no reason, like an old Buick. I think it's because I've just lost so many people. It's rare that I get to express myself. I write comedy, you know? I write jokes. And people die every day, and I'm there, and I write jokes. So it's very tough sometimes to let it out. And it's embarrassing to have a catharsis in front of all of you, but it never hurt Judy Garland, so.
So I guess to a certain extent, I've always wanted to be out front and perform and, you know, be the center of attention. But I haven't had, that hasn't been the primary, you know, that hasn't been the primary need. Finding clothes that fit has been the primary need. And I failed there, so I did this.
To your shanties. To your shanties. Don't be obtuse.
I knew I never should have gotten involved with that woman. I knew I never should have gotten involved with that woman. Part of her power being she was a bad butch who made women unravel, come undone at the seams like Wonder Woman. Beneath her armor was desperate. I knew I never should have gotten involved with that woman, but somewhere inside she moved me to another country and I started speaking in languages I had never learned. One of the most effective tools in the fight against AIDS is having the right information, facts about prevention and treatment. If you want more information on AIDS in communities of color, contact the National Black Leadership Commission on AIDS or the National Minority AIDS Council. For these and other links to organizations working in the battle against AIDS, check out our website at inthelife.tv.org. This is Pamela Sneed for In the Life.
Each year, In the Life reserves a spot on our program to showcase the work of an up-and-coming film and video artist, hoping to provide exposure to works about the gay and lesbian experience that may find few other broadcast outlets. To do this, we hold our own annual short film and video contest. And the winner of this year's competition is a film about a young woman who pursues her dreams of becoming an athlete despite the stigma of being called a tomboy.
Tomboy is an autobiographical short film, and it's about, it's just about wanting to play sport. That's really what it's about, and it's about this battle that can be overt or it can be covert, that keeps little girls from getting to play sports. Tomboy was definitely my very first film. Personal films are tough. They're hard. I mean, they really allow you to share something big that you know is authentic. You know it's authentic because it's your authentic experience.
I remember the heady, steady thrill of the swing, legs pumping, my heart thumping, leaning back on the upswing to see the clouds, straining into the downswing and laughing out loud, keeping wild time like a crazy pendulum and never slowing my momentum. Don't swing too high. Teacher's voice, trying to shoot us girls from the sky. Never tell an athlete she cannot go higher. I was born a tomboy. Here, I'm trying to outrun Mom and her lace patrol. Mom thought I would play with Barbie. She envisioned ballet, ribbons, black patent leather. I felt like I was in drag. My sister and I were supposed to let my brothers carry the heavy stuff. The story went that we could get muscles or a hernia that could keep us from having kids. That did not stop me. I like my muscles. I remember the name calling. Tomboy, Leslie, Dyke. Even from my own brothers and sisters. None of us knew what the words meant, but they were not encouraging. Mom used to say I walked like a farmer. She tried to teach me to walk like a lady, even put books on my head. But I was unswayed.
Your sailor went to see what he could see, but all that he could see was the one and the blue,
I was not encouraged to seek a future in sports, but I found a future there. I found a free college education, a national championship, and an audience with the president. I found a career as a pro sports writer. And I created the only women's sports page in the nation. It's sort of a visual aid for other aspiring tomboys. Tomboyism, a wholesome delight in rushing about at full speed, playing at active games, climbing trees, rowing boats, and making mud pies. 1876, the Oxford English Dictionary.
From all of us at In the Life, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, tell us what do you do when you need a good shine when you're under the gun. And you want to shine. Want to shine. Baby, before I vamoose, better listen good to your chanteuse. To your chanteuse. Don't be obtuse. Don't be obtuse.
In the Life is funded in part by the H. Van Ameringen Foundation. Additional support provided by Michael A. Leppin, Jeffrey B. Soref, James Pepper, Amy Zimmerman and Tanya Wexler, Jonathan B. Sheffer and Christopher Barley, Barry Skovgaard and Mark Walensky, the Lily Auchincloss Foundation, the Gill Foundation, the Michael Palm Foundation, the Rainbow Endowment, the Terry K. Watanabe Charitable Trust, the Mitchell Gold Company, in the hopes of eliminating all types of fear and prejudice, and the annual support of In the Life members like you.